Thanks to Crafton for sponsoring this content and providing an early copy of inZOI. Hey guys, my name is Maddie, or A Cotton Sock, and welcome to my official playtest and overview of the newest life simulation, inZOI. inZOI is a brand new life simulation being developed by the Korean game developers Crafton, which you may recognize as the creators of the Battle Royale game PUBG. However, inZOI is Crafton's first foray into the simulation genre. I wanted to mention, just because I was sent a playtest copy of inZOI, the game developers were very clear that they are open to hearing features that the players want and are open to critique. In fact, they didn't give me any sentences or any notes to say in this video. Okay, enough blabbing, let's hop right into the game. Creating a ZOI. Visually, as I'm sure you can tell, this game is absolutely stunning. The people in this game are called ZOI. I was given about a week to playtest inZOI, and the game devs told us that the game has been in development for about a year at this point, but I'm shocked at how refined the game already is, and I think the ZOI creation section really showcases this fact. We're first greeted with selecting traits for your ZOI. Traits will impact how ZOI react to situations and also the desires they get. You can randomize these or go through and select particular traits. Next, you can choose a preset ZOI or create your own and really get in there and manipulate the ZOI's features. You can drag around eyes, nose, cheeks, even down to the body shape. Next, we have clothes, and can I just say, the texture on the clothes is crazy good. Every wrinkle and bit of stitching in the clothing is really crisp. I think the clothing is also very stylish. As I mentioned, Crafton, the game devs, are a Korean company, and the Korean clothing style really comes through here. My jaw had actually dropped while I was playing this portion of the game, just due to the sheer amount of graphical capability in this section. Create a ZOI is beautiful. One problem I did have was in regards to the clothing selection, particularly for the seniors. The clothing options really cater to the younger generation. There are life stages in inZOI, which I will get to later, but I would see seniors in the game wearing the same clothes that, say, a 20-year-old ZOI would wear. I do wish that there were more clothing options for the older seniors in the game as well. I should also mention a color wheel. inZOI has a color wheel. How exciting is that? You can really get in there and fully customize hair and clothing pieces on that color wheel. We also have the ability to customize outfits right on the spot. I was able to customize the length of a shirt, the neckline of a shirt, and the sort of midsection, and mix and match these pieces together. I think the further development of this particular tool could yield some really cool results. I did notice on heavier body types, though, that there was a bit of clipping around the midsection of the customized outfits. There isn't any body hair currently in the game. I also noticed that the lens, which is eye color, isn't on a color wheel and is on swatches. I think this probably has something to do with genetics. Like, if the eye color was on a color wheel, maybe it wouldn't be able to mix an eye color for any potential offspring of your ZOI. I'm not exactly sure. Unfortunately, skin tones, for assumedly the same reason, are also on a swatch. I would really like to see these be on some sort of slider or even a color wheel in the future. Moving in. After a ZOI has been created, we get sent into the map screen where we get to pick a place to stay. As of the playtest, there was only one location available to live called Dowon, which is a make-believe South Korea, more particularly Seoul. The devs are currently working on a Los Angeles-inspired world called Bliss Bay, but it wasn't ready when I was playtesting. This is the map screen that shows all the different places your Zoi can live, as well as different places to visit. Houses and apartments are both available right off the bat. I chose to move into an empty lot and place down one of the pre-made house structures because I am a terrible builder. The building seemed rather intuitive. The assets are nice and modern, and there's even an option where, just like we were able to customize clothing with different pieces, you can piece together furniture. Mixing and matching these furniture pieces can yield lots of results. I would really like to see the development of this tool to allow more furniture sections like beds. The devs were really proud of a particular feature called AI texture. I don't know the logistics of how this works, but based on a keyword that you put into the generator, the game will create a related wallpaper or floor texture. I would assume that this requires some internet connectivity, so I'm not sure how this would work or if it would work if you're playing without a connection. I tried to create a children's bedroom, so I put in the word dinosaurs, and I definitely got images of dinosaurs back, but they didn't really fit well within the aesthetic and graphics of the game. It just looked kind of odd. I also tried this on flooring to see if I could create those foam squares that are usually in children's playrooms, and unfortunately the AI gave me a literal picture of a piece of foam. Speaking of wallpaper and flooring, barring the AI texture feature, it's super customizable. The color wheel really comes in clutch for this type of thing. Some unreleased features the devs are also currently working on are creating video loops that you can play on walls, glass ceilings, and a much more efficient way to create walls. Building in apartment buildings is restricted to just the unit you are living in, which I think makes sense, though I do wish you were able to edit the hallways and the lobbies. In the version of the game that I playtested, we were unable to edit or create public lots. However, we were able to minimally edit the city. We could edit the billboards around the city by choosing from a couple of the presets, as well as some preset trees and grasses. There were also a couple of other options within this menu, such as cats, which controls the density of how many cats you see around the city, crowds, which controls the density of how many Zoi are walking around the town, and city stability, which I'm not sure what it is, but judging by the picture of the burning car, I am very interested. Pets. There are pets in the base game, more specifically my favorite kind of pet, cats. The logo, so to say, of the game is a white cat, and this cat in particular pops up just about everywhere. She's the icon of the game. She's sitting on a stool as you create your Zoi, and she also gives you some tutorial related tips on your phone and things relating to events happening around your Zoi. Unfortunately, cats were not ready to be adopted at the time of the playtest. The devs noted that pet adoption will more than likely come to the game. Cats will randomly roam around the world and you can feed them snacks. In addition, there is also an interaction that pops up between two Zoi. Talk about adopting a cat. The animations and cat models are already in the game, so if I were to speculate, I would assume that cat adoption will be coming to the game and hopefully more broadly other pets as well. Weather. There is also weather in the base game. There are 4 different weather cycles with different levels of intensity: sunny, cloudy, rainy, and snowy. Each weather pattern can manually be set by the player. It will organically rain without any of your interference. In my opinion, there was a really big missed opportunity here in terms of the weather. There actually isn't any related gameplay outcomes regarding the weather. It's purely aesthetic as it is right now. The only effect it has on your Zoe is dampening their clothes when they walk out into the rain. I would have really loved to see the weather have an actual gameplay effect on the Zoes. Maybe if it's a blizzard, kids can get school canceled, or if it's thundering and lightning and rainy, maybe the lights will flicker and the power goes out. Gameplay. One of the first things I noticed about the game was that when a Zoe is strolling down the street or has no actions in the queue, they reach for their phones to check them, mirroring our real-world behavior. This simple action really adds a layer of realism to the game, making the Zoe feel relatable and human. Phones in inZOI are not just accessories, but also a significant aspect of gameplay. Friends occasionally send text messages announcing their intention to visit your Zoe's home, and furthermore, notifications will periodically pop up, inviting your Zoe to participate in a variety of in-world events. These events range from posing for another Zoe's artwork to attending public auditions. These interactions serve to immerse your Zoe in the game world, making it more vibrant and dynamic. Additionally, through the phone, you receive notifications when a new family moves into town. Zoe that move in are integrated into the game with jobs and roles, creating an evolving society. Occasionally, Zoe even experience the joy of hitting the lottery, with announcements appearing at the top of the screen, adding an element of surprise and excitement. When Zoe are not engrossed in their phones while strolling, they engage with their environment, appreciating the scenery in a way that's realistic. These animations are executed with an impressive attention to detail. Over time, objects in the Zoe's home also gradually accumulate dirt. The ability to send your Zoe to clean their living space becomes a necessary task and adds a tangible dimension to the Zoe's life. Zoe will gain skills as they perform certain activities. Current skills include art, speech, and fitness. The more skills your Zoe has, the better they will be at certain activities, as well as being able to get promoted to the next job level. Zoe have their own schedules that you can fine-tune to tweak and edit aspects of their day. You can choose particular public lots to meet up at or certain places you want them to visit. I was thinking of using this feature to create a family outing across members of a family that don't all live together. I can use the scheduler to have each family member be sent to the public lot so they all arrive at the same time. Each Zoe has preferences, things they like and dislike. These are overridable in case you have a specific storyline in mind for your Zoe, but they are automatically generated and are different for each Zoe. Zoe also have ambitions. They have an overarching goal for your Zoe to do. I would like to see more ambitions come to the game as they are quite basic as it is now. Ambitions also influence Zoe's desires, which change day to day based on what they want to do. Cars. As I'm sure you can see, cars drive by on the street. Sadly, the cars are not drivable. You'll also frequently see bikes parked around the sidewalks, and unfortunately, these can also not be driven either. Instead, the game uses a subway system to quickly get your Zoe around town. If the location is close enough, the Zoe will just walk. I would really love to be able to drive the cars and bikes, especially because these assets are already in the game. It seems like a tease to not be able to drive the cars. Oh, and I should mention, you can in fact get hit by a car in inZOI. Jobs. Jobs are accessible through the phone. There are a mix of full-time jobs and part-time jobs. Full-time jobs include being a firefighter or a K-pop trainee. Part-time jobs include a convenience store cashier or a deli cashier. The K-pop trainee job has some major limitations. Sadly, this career confines Zoe to the Atom Entertainment headquarters, which is the make-believe K-pop company, which really restricts the Zoe's interactions within the world. It would have been more engaging to see Zoe perform shows and build a fan base in the streets, adding an extra layer of immersion to this career path. The standout job for me is the firefighter position. This role allows Zoe to engage in a dynamic work environment involving activities like extinguishing mock fires, exercising in the gym, participating in meetings, and changing into firefighting gear. Each of these careers requires ZOI to hone their skills, and their performance influences their chance of earning a promotion. I should also mention all jobs are live jobs. You can play them through and meet your coworkers, do the career objectives, so on and so forth. Romance. Romance plays a pivotal role in inZOI. The game has an array of endearing interactions, such as say you would pluck the stars from the sky for love, or inquiring if a character can appear in your dreams that night, along with simple acts like holding hands and conversing. Romance progress is indicated with the little pink heart in the relationships panel. Progression in romantic relationships follows a path from mutual crush to honey to true love, and finally to the significant milestone of selecting a relationship. While the system is straightforward and accessible, it is noteworthy that it is very easy to expedite the romantic progression. I had my ZOI meet, engage, and marry another ZOI all in the span of a couple in-game hours. At present, it also appears that most ZOI are consistently receptive to the player's advances, which I think really diminishes the sense of challenge and unpredictability in the game. It would be intriguing to see a feature where some ZOI may not favor the player's character, so that results in rejections that just add depth to the gameplay. Engagement and marriage are given really cute cutscenes, which I absolutely adore and think that they are such a highlight for this game. Pregnancy and babies. Out of all the content in inZOI, I was most looking forward to the gameplay related to pregnancy and babies. I was a little disappointed. When playing with two married ZOI, they'll get a unique interaction. Suggest having a baby. The ZOI will then head to the bed and you'll get a spicy cutscene. After that, your ZOI will pop out of bed and boom, your female ZOI is pregnant. I tested this process with two different ZOI households, and in both instances, the female ZOI became pregnant on the first attempt. Nevertheless, it left me wanting a more realistic approach. In real life, fertility struggles are common, and not every try for a baby results in an immediate pregnancy. A pop-up congratulating the player on the pregnancy appears, and it states ZOI pregnancy spans 3 stages, early, middle, and late, lasting a total of 3 in-game days. Besides the ZOI's mood, there is a little pregnancy symbol, and the character wears maternity attire, but there is no visible timer to gauge the progression. So you kind of just have to remember, okay, my ZOI got pregnant on this day, they'll give birth on this day. I really would like there to be a timer. Over the course of these 3 days, the ZOI's baby bump gradually expands until the birth of the child, which shows yet another cute cutscene. However, at the moment of birth, I noticed a limitation: the ability to select or name the newborn. The baby simply spawns in the crib wherever there is available space, making the moment feel somewhat detached from the emotional investment. As babies grow into toddlers, they remain disappointingly non-interactive. Parents are unable to engage with their own toddlers, which feels like a missed opportunity to nurture and bond with the babies. Furthermore, toddlers can be left alone at home for an indefinite period with no caretaker or a babysitter or a nanny. When I found that out, I was like, huh? I can just stay out all the time and this child can just chill at home alone. The lack of realism in this aspect, where a newborn infant can be left unattended, takes away from the immersion and sense of responsibility your ZOI get when they take on the endeavor of becoming a parent. While the gameplay elements related to pregnancy and parenting introduce a range of exciting possibilities, they also carry their fair share of disappointments. While the endearing cutscenes and the gradual growth of the ZOI's pregnancy add charm, the lack of a more realistic pregnancy mechanism, the absence of baby naming options, and the unfulfilled potential in toddler interactions all stand out as areas where the game falls short. Addressing these aspects would greatly enhance the overall enjoyment and immersion of this aspect of inZOI's gameplay. Life stages. The game, unfortunately, does not have an age span indicator yet, but according to the devs, these are how long each lifespan is. Children and teens attend school, and teens can also become K-pop trainees. I really like seeing the children and teens go to and from school with their backpacks on. It was a really cute addition. Death. inZOI has a number of ways that Zoi can meet their demise: getting hit by a car, hunger, sleeplessness, lack of recognition, and disease and contamination due to being overly messy. While the variety of options is definitely intriguing, the real issue lies in the time it takes for Zoi to meet their end. I ran an experiment where my Zoi had her hunger meter in the red for a staggering 24 hours before finally passing away. This excessive leniency really detracts from the overall immersion. While instant death upon reaching zero hunger is way too severe, there must be a more balanced approach to create a more engaging experience. Furthermore, it's not only the time it takes for a Zoi to die that raises concerns, but also the lack of any lasting impact on the remaining family members. When my Zoi met her end by running into traffic, it was odd to find that when I switched over to my husband's Zoi, life carried on as though nothing had happened. For a game that strives to mimic real-life interactions, this lack of repercussions or lasting influence on the surviving family members seems like a missed opportunity. Incorporating consequences would not only make the Zoi feel more lifelike, but also add depth to the gameplay by allowing players to explore the ripple effects of their decisions. Wrapping up my thoughts, this game is a visual treat. It's seriously stunning. Zoi creation is just top notch. I had a blast tweaking the traits, customizing outfits. That color wheel though, the game is quite refined despite only being in development for a year at this point. However, aspects of the game such as weather and pregnancy and babies, I couldn't even pick out a name for my little bundle of virtual joy. Also, my Zoi survives on her hunger being in the red for 24 hours. Talk about an iron stomach. Wow. And when she did meet her end, life moved on back at the family like nothing had happened. Some consequences or lasting impact could really spice things up. Overall, inZOI's got some serious potential, especially with Crafton being all ears for the player's feedback. It's like a work in progress that's already impressing. It just needs a sprinkle of improvements in certain areas. I really can't wait to see this time next year how far the game will truly be in terms of development. That is all for me. I hope you all enjoyed my overview and playtest of inZOI.